All right, what's up, guys? It's been a minute since I've done one of these like little yapping videos. I haven't really had much to talk about for Dark and Darker. Not a ton of changes recently, or anything like that that's really worth mentioning that I haven't already discussed for this wipe. Obviously, we have the new wipe coming up soon, which I'll probably make another different video talking about whenever we know more, if we know more before the actual wipe happens. But disregarding that, I'm just gonna go over Druid and give my first impressions of it because I haven't done that. And I know it's been like obviously Druid's been out on test server for quite a while now, and I haven't, I mean, a lot of people have already done this, but they've added a couple new things, I believe. And I just kind of want to go over it, give my opinion on whether or not I think it's going to be good, in terms of just a character in general, like any sort of build, and if there's any viability for a build outside of it just being like a random heal bot, you know? Because I do think there is an argument that could be made for like a bear form build that's pretty like good, like frontline type thing. So to start off with, obviously, as you know, the Druid is based around transformations. It's a spellcaster and it's a shapeshifter. Right now, we only have five. We have obviously the human form, the chicken, the panther, the rat, and the bear. The chicken, what you do, you can spread your wings and fly. You lose 60% of your maximum health, and you gain 60% incoming physical healing and 60% incoming magical healing. And you can like peck people. Panther, you get a wall jump. I don't exactly know how that works. You can jump really high and you have a wall jump and you move really fast. Other than that, like I said, yeah, I'm not really sure how it works. I haven't really seen anyone do it. I haven't really watched much. I haven't really played Druid much myself. But you gain 5% move speed, lose 30% max health, and you get 30% incoming physical and magical healing, and you get 20% more jump height. Rat, I've actually seen a lot of Rat. Rat's like the character I've seen the most of. You get really, really small, and because you're small, you can jump through closed doors. Like like the little peephole on the door. You can, if you time it right, you can jump and go through that door. Other than that, you get a 10% move speed bonus. You lose 95% of your max health, and you gain 95% incoming physical healing and magical healing, and you get 10% more jump height. So the thing I'm not sure about with this is, so whenever you turn into the rat form, obviously you lose so much HP, and like for all the forms except bear, you lose HP. If you go down to like 1 HP, so let's say normally your HP pool would be 150, right? And you turn into a rat and you go down to like what, like 8 HP or something, and you drink a health pot. Like you drink a health pot and then turn into a rat, or you get healed when you're a rat. Well, and then you turn, so you're 100%, and you turn back into human form. Will you be like back to 100% HP there too? Because if your HP increases and you take damage and then your HP goes back to the normal amount, the percentage that you took will be converted. So you're at the same percentage of like the of health that you were at the higher amount that you're at your normal amounts. If that makes sense. Not sure how that works. If so, that could be cool because you get low, you drink a pot, and then you turn back into a like what's it called? You turn back into animal to heal, full heal really quick, turn back into a person, and you're good. Um, and then bear form, which I think is probably the only actual good one that has like real use. You get 10% physical damage reduction, 50% max health bonus. You lose 30% move speed and 20% action speed, and your jump is lowered by 30%. And also, you are too large to pass through single doors, so most of the doors in the game. So this is the one thing I think you made an argument for. That's a good frontline build. Also, if you hit people, you knock them back, like the same way like an Apollon or a Fireball would or something. That's all. But other than that, it's kind of mid. I mean, the 10% PDR is cool, especially with the armor rating changes. So this is going to be pretty meaningful whenever you turn into a bear. And then 50% max HP, obviously, especially with the new base stats. Everybody getting more HP, as you see here. Druid is 111 HP base. 50% HP is a lot better. Like the percent HP increases just got better with the base stats increase and the flat HP increase. But then 30% move speed, which isn't super relevant, and 20% action speed, also not very relevant. So the big thing about this is because you have knockback on your swings, if someone tries to go on your teammate, you turn into a bear and you slap them away, right? Also, if you hit your teammate, you're going to push them away, but that's like whatever. You slap the person, knock them away, keep them off your team, or you just push them back off of you so they can't consistently damage you. It's actually pretty cool. And then for their skills, you only have one spell memory. You don't have two spell memory. You have two shapeshift memory, but you can only run 5 spells in the max right now. I don't know if it's a good change in the future. I'm assuming right now the reason they have this is because obviously, like, they want you to shapeshift, even though the spells are significant. Like, running 10 spell would be significantly better than running any of these shapeshifts. Because if you're running a caster, bear doesn't really matter, and neither the rest. Like, rat matters for, like, running away, maybe. Same with, like, panther. But chicken's completely useless, and bear is pretty much useless for you. Maybe you turn to bear if someone's going on you, but even then, probably not realistic. Especially if it's, like, a rogue with cutthroat, it doesn't matter. So moving on to perks and skills. I moved this one over. So to go from the top, we have Dreamwalk, When you take damage, you gain 5 magical power for 4 seconds, and you become spiritual. It does not collide with other targets, it cannot attack or use skills, but can cast spells. This ability triggers once every 12 seconds. So once every 12 seconds, you basically have Phantomize with no downside and no extra move speed. And you can cast spells during it, which is really, really big. So this pretty much makes it so that it's really hard to kill a druid, right? Unless you can literally one-shot them, which you're not going to be able to, it's going to make it so they are guaranteed to live in the fight for 4 seconds, which is a really big advantage they have over Cleric. If you go on Cleric, Cleric can instantly die, and other than healing themselves, or just, natural base stats and being tanky, they can't really survive it. In the meta where TTK is going to be higher because they're nerfing things like true damage and add damage, and they're giving people more HP, this loses a bit of value. However, it's still good because that's still 4 seconds in a fight that there is one character that is going to be able to do whatever they want that you can't stop them. I definitely see this getting nerfed down to probably like 2 seconds or 3 seconds, just because I think this is one of those things that's anti-fun, because when you take counterplay away from people, it is never a good idea. Like I said, I don't know if this works exactly like Phantomize, where you can still hit them with, like, Splash Fireball or Lightning Strike or things like that aren't direct targeting, because it doesn't say, but yeah. Maybe it is, and if so, that's not as bad as I'm thinking about, but they don't have the minus 50% MR in this the way Warlocks do, so, like, when a Warlock Phantomizes, you hit them with the splash spells, they just get completely fucked. They just die. Because they have the minus 50 MR. This character obviously doesn't have that, but it will, that's assuming they can even be hit in Dreamwalk. I'm not sure. I haven't heard anybody test it, and honestly, I'm not going to test it myself. I'm just too lazy. I really don't care that much. Other than that, it's pretty good. I mean, you gain 5 magic power, which is cool. I mean, it's like, a slight buff, but it is what it is. But yeah, and then you can still cast spells, so you can still be healing your teammates and stuff. And the thing about this that's really good is you can literally just play however you want and just not have to care, because your team doesn't have to save you, right? Like, you can play as aggressive as you want as a healer, and you just don't give a shit because no one can kill you. If they hit you, and you can continue to cast spells for 4 seconds, and no physical damage can kill you. Like, you can literally run in the front line, and you can still get your heals off. So, and like, any time that your teammate would normally be like too far away, like, oh, I can't push up to heal you, like, because I could die, that's just not a thing anymore for this class, which obviously does not sound very balanced. Moving on, Enhanced Wilderness. When you're in animal form, you gain 5 additional move speed and 10 armor rating. Just very basic. Probably not worthwhile for a caster build. Like, if you're playing this as a healer caster. So the thing about this class is, this is going to be how Bard felt, or even feels, is that outside of their spell casting, they really don't bring a lot. Like, actually, that's a bad way to say it. In terms of other skills, they don't bring a lot. They are pretty much just only casters, and other than that, they have nothing else. The animal forms right now are mostly useless, like I mentioned before. They are just not very good. There's no real reason to turn into them, especially if you're the main healer for your team. So, pretty much a useless perk right now. Probably going to be good later. If you're going the bear form thing that I talked about earlier, like, try to frontline bear form, this could be good. But one big downside to that build is you pretty much can never engage. It's only, like, living. It's like a defensive comp, right? Like, you play bear form with, like, Druid Ranger or something, so you just, like, prevent people from coming onto your team, but you can't go onto them either because of the minus 30% move speed. And then none of your other forms are reliable to get into a fight because most of them lower your HP by a significant amount. Like, for example, Rat obviously is, like, 95%, Chicken 60%. Even Panther is 30%, which isn't the biggest thing, but if you have 150 HP and you turn into a Panther, you're losing almost 50 HP, right? Like, that is not something you want to do. Force of Nature. When you heal a target, the target gains 3 physical power for 3 seconds. This isn't bad. If this stacks, it's okay. I doubt it does, but for the most part, this is like a super small buff. This is something you would take if you could take like an unlimited amount of perks, or like, you had a free point to spec into this. Not the way this game works. You're limited in perks. You're probably never taking this. Herbal Sensing, detects nearby herbs, like whatever, it doesn't really matter. Nature Healing, recover yourself and nearby allies 1 and then 0.1 scaling for, I assume, magical healing health every 3 seconds. Maybe it's physical, probably magical. It's not insane, but this is nice enough, and the other perks aren't really crazy, so you're probably going to take this. I mean, this is just free healing. Like, during a fight, you have passive healing, even if it is a very small amount. If you have max magic healing, this is almost a Troll's Blood. I'm not sure exactly what max magic healing is for this class because I don't know what gear they can wear. But just assuming based on rolls, it's like what? You can get like 3 on the pendants, 2 on each ring. I mean, so you can get like, we're just going to say, like, I'm just going to throw 10 out there as a rate. Like, we're just going to say 10. 10 magic healing. This will heal you for 2 health every 3 seconds. It's almost a Troll's Blood, which is pretty good. I could see this getting nerfed down a bit. Maybe like it's 0.5 health with like 0.2 scaling or something. But who knows? I think this is going to be the same issue that Bard had with Tranquility, where it's just way too strong. And keep in mind, Bard didn't have any other healing. Also, it wasn't a song they had to play. This is just permanently active on you for, as long as your teammates are near you. But it does say nearby, so it depends how big the range is. If it's a really short range, it's mostly just going to be selfish healing, which is still fine to take, but it's not going to be super broken, and you won't probably need to nerf it. And then Shapeshift Mastery changes form instantly without casting time. This isn't very relevant right now. When we have more forms that are good and you want to, like, actually turn into them, this will be, like, very, very meaningful. Other than that, not super crazy. Right now, like I said, just not very valuable because it's very rare that you're ever going to be actually turning into forms like constantly. Like maybe you swap into bear and then swap back to human to like be a bit tankier when someone goes on you, but like I said, Dreamwalk, don't really need that. Spirit Bond. It's the text. Ignore the text part. Once every 1 second, you will receive 15% of the damage received by your party members. Instead, you can receive up to damage up to 20. So this is like it's like a tanky skill, or I mean even like a backline thing. Like if you're like a tanky backline character, this is fine. Basically, if you're nearby, well, actually it doesn't say nearby, so I guess just any. You just take 15% of the damage your teammate takes, right? If you're like a league player, think of Knight's Vow or some other similar item in other games where you are linked to a teammate and you take a percentage of their damage. And then generally, if you're the backline character, this won't really matter. So it doesn't say that you can't die with this. I assume you probably can't, but it doesn't say it. Maybe you can, who knows. But this could be good. But the problem with this is one, it depends how it's coded. Because if you're taking post-mitigated damage, like let's say, you hit a fighter that's a 75% PDR fighter with like, a physical damage attack, and he's only going to take 10 damage. Are they going to take 15% of that damage, or are they going to take 15% of the damage before it was mitigated by the PDR? Or are they going to take 15% of the damage as if it just hit them instead and it mitigates through their PDR, right? Because if you're taking post mitigation damage from your teammate, then this is significantly better because you're not actually taking that much, right? Even though your teammate's not taking much either, or taking much either, this is just 15% damage reduction on top of what they currently have. It's not like it'd be 90%. It's probably it'd be it's reduced by 75%, and then it'd be reduced by another 15% on top of that, which is actually pretty good. Other than that, perk isn't crazy. I'm not sure if you're really going to take it. Maybe you do. On a frontline character, this is really good because then if you're goes on your backline, you could take a lot of damage off of them, and 15% of the damage they take is actually like can be quite a bit, especially if they're getting hit really hard. But it's 15% of the damage received, but it can receive damage up to 20. I mean, you're never gonna take like you're never gonna take 20. Like it's just not happening. 15, like they would have to hit them for fucking like 200 damage from that. It's just not happening. When you cast Spirit Magic, gain 10 magical power. I'll go over the spells after, but this is pretty solid. I think this is one of the perks you're gonna run. 10 magical power is a lot. This is like 2 items worth of magic power, especially post nerfs. This is going to be almost 3. Really good perk here. I'm not sure which spells are spirit magic because there's... Oh, I can't. Okay. They have these 2 colors. I'm assuming the dark green ones are spirit magic, in which case some of these are really good. And if like regardless of which one it is, this is just a good perk, right? Like this is just for good because both the spirit magic and I assume the nature magic, if you want to call it, have spells this would benefit very nice from, and it's just free stats, right? Like this is the equivalent of getting like this is like 10. This would be the equivalent of getting like 10 strength minus the HP on a different character for the physical counterpart. And then Sun and Moon, nearby allies gain 3 Vig and 5 magic power. This is another thing that is really, really good because this also applies to yourself. So this is giving you 3 Vig and 5 magic power. You add that in here, you are getting 15 free magic power towards spirit magic spells, and then these are just 5 towards everything, like or everything else as well. Plus 3 Vig on top of that, obviously more HP. Really, really nice. Like this is just I think these 2 right here, the like Spirit Magic Mastery and Sun and Moon are just no-brainers. I'm pretty sure you're just always gonna want to run these. Same with Dreamwalk. You like Dreamwalk, Sun and Moon, and Spirit Magic. Like these are just way too good to not run. I could definitely see these 2 getting nerfed slightly before it makes it lower. I mean, obviously not before live client, but after live client, just because these are like way too these are way too many stats for free. Like 15 magic power is crazy. And then we have Thorncoat with melee attack, return 5 true physical damage to the attacker. This is pretty good. For caster, doesn't matter because once again, Dreamwalk, you don't want to be getting hit, and if you're getting hit that much, you're probably gonna die. You're not really gonna want to return much damage. This is like a bear form build, which is pretty good for bear form, but 5 true damage per hit look nice. I mean, you would definitely run it, right? You would definitely run it. However, not super crazy. Um, yeah, that is what it is. It's decent. This is like pretty decent, I think. And then, so you're probably just gonna run Spirit Magic, Sun and Moon, Dreamwalk, and then probably Natural Healing. You can maybe run like Spirit Bond or something else, or even Force of Nature, but it's probably just those four. Those are the best ones. Now, moving on to spells, we have Nature's Touch. The target gains 15 additional recoverable health, also healed 15 health over 12 seconds. Cast instantly and cast on yourself if no target is found. So as you can see, this character does have spell costs or like spell like limits, same way as Cleric and Wizard do. Other than that, nothing like super special about their spells. So once again, I'm not 100% sure how this works. This is 15 additional recoverable health. I don't know if this increases your max HP and gives you like, so if you have 100 HP and they cast this, you get 15 additional recoverable health on top of what you normally would have. So you'd go from 100 to 115, and that extra 15 would be gray health, healable HP. So I'm not sure if that's how that works. If it does, it's pretty good because it just increases your max HP, right? Effectively, and then it's healing it with the heal over time. Bark Skin Armor increases armor rating by 20% for 8 seconds, encasing you in a protective bark. Decent. The duration doesn't last very long, so it's not super relevant. It's a buff, and with 5 spells, very unlikely you run this. There are too many other good spells. Summon a treant to fight for you for 12 seconds. Treants become more powerful when summoned underwater. I mean, the underwater part is basically fucking irrelevant. There's like there's like 2 places I can even think of this being relevant, and most of them are places you're never gonna fight. If there's like the one room on Crypts that is the static blue in it, and then like Goblin Caves. I don't even know if Ice Caves has an oh yeah, well I guess I'm stupid. Yeah, Ice Caves has several underwater parts. But even then, I mean, you're not like, that's so situational. You're probably not taking this. Entangling Vine spreads roots across the floor in a 1-meter radius that lasts for 6 seconds. Any targets that pass through the area of effects are frozen in place for 3 seconds. After the effect removed, the target gets immunity to the entangling effects for 3 seconds. So, this is really, really good. This is basically just a spellcast bear trap that you can put under people's feet and they will get rooted for 3 seconds so they have no counterplay to. Because I don't think you can get out of this in any way. You have to wait the duration. After the duration, yes, you can't be hit by it again. However, 3 seconds of being frozen in place is a very long time. That is a lot of time to kill somebody, a lot of time to run from them, just overall really, really long. The radius isn't that big, but you can like drop this on a doorway or something and just like, okay, are you going to step through and get rooted or what's going to happen? Like you drop this on a doorway and all of a sudden they have to try to like run and like jump over it, but if they get hit in the process, they're going to fall into it and they're going to get stuck there for 3 seconds. This is just a more obvious bear trap it's way harder to avoid. Thorn Barrier, also another really good thing. Creates a Thorn Barrier that lasts for 10 seconds. Any character standing under the Thorn Barrier will take 10 physical damage per second. This is literally a wall you can pull up, and it just like sits there. You can't jump over it or anything. Maybe you can double jump over it. It's not that tall. I haven't tried it. Pretty sure you can double jump over it, but you can like put this in like a doorway and shit, so people can't get through it because you can't just normally crouch jump over it. I'm pretty sure it looks a bit too tall to crouch jump. But yeah, and then if you stand near it, you take 10 physical damage per second, which is obviously quite a bit. Other than that, this is really good for locking people in. Like you run into a room, they thorn barrier behind you, and if you try to get to if you try to walk back to it, you're just gonna take damage. So now you're at a spot where you have to stay off the door. So if you have like a healer or something, they can't like stand near the door and heal you. Actually really strong. Certainly could be taken. Now we're getting to the really, really good ones though. Dreamfire, deal 15 with 100% scaling, magical damage within radius. Any allies or self currently affected by Nature's Touch are instantly healed for 10 magic healing or 10 health per target damaged. So once again, as I've said many, many times, I don't know how big this is. It just says within radius. Obviously, it would be hard for me to test it because I'd need people to play the game to test it. But this is Nature's Touch. This one up here that lasts for 12 seconds. So you're putting a 15 heal over time on them for 12 seconds, and you cast this, and anyone that gets hit by it, anyone that gets hit by this will heal your team that has Nature's Touch on them. So you could cast this on like both of your teammates for 12 seconds, and you pop this, and if they're in the radius, you are going to do damage, and you heal your teammates for, like if let's say you hit 2 people, you heal your teammates for 20 health plus, 100% magic healing scaling each. Like that's a lot of healing, especially just for free. And depending on how long the cast time on this is, you can just like repeat cast this and heal. You're healing and doing damage. This is just a really, really good thing, right? This is really strong. All right. Restore the health of all allies within 3-meter radius by 30 health for 10 seconds. This is just good, right? This is like a sanctuary over time with less healing. Just can't really complain. Like, this is just strong healing. And it's, I mean, there's three uses of it. It is a 5 cost, but there's still 3 uses of it. I don't know if there's any scaling on this because it doesn't really show it, so maybe it's just a flat number and no scaling. But regardless, still pretty strong. And Mending Grove. Create a forest area centered around you with a 3-meter radius. Targets in the area gain 10% max health bonus and are healed for 10 health per second. So this is pretty much just better Sanctuary. It still works the exact same way. You know, it's healing or like over time around you. Your allies can get in it. Your team or enemies can get in it. Anyone can get in it and get the healing bonus. However, I'm not sure exactly. I don't know if this is a cast or a like a deployable, right? Like I don't know if it's like, oh, I cast it now it's on the ground around me, or it's like I have to sit here and channel it. I assume it's a channel. Kind of sounds like a channel, but who knows? Because it's centered around you, right? But maybe it's not. But regardless, this is pretty strong. I mean, this is just Sanctuary. And they don't actually have a lot of healing on demand. Most of their healing is situational. It's either healing over time, like Restore and Nature's Touch, or it's like Dreamfire, where it's a situational healing where, oh, I need to damage people to heal them. But this is literally just like a really good healing on demand spell, and there's 3 casts of it. And then lastly, we have Tree of Life. Sprout of Tree of Life, granting 5 all attributes and granting 40 additional recoverable health over 8 seconds. Cannot cast on self. So you like throw this on a teammate and they get 5 all and they get 40 recoverable health over 8 seconds. Once again, like I said, I assume this is 40 extra recoverable health, like on top of what you already have, in which case this is increasing your max HP by 40, and then obviously you have to heal it, but that's fine because they have a ton of different healing spells, but then it gives them 5 all. So you're getting 40 recoverable health, but then you're getting 5 Vig, Dex, Agi, Strength, Resourcefulness, Knowledge, Will, for 8 seconds, right? And they have 2 casts of this. So in theory, you can throw this on both of your teammates, and then your teammates are getting, you know, that's 5 all attributes for both of your teammates, and they're getting like 40 max HP on top of that. That has to be healed, but still, like, this is insane. This is like guaranteed take. Like, I'm pretty sure you're probably just gonna take like something along these lines, and then your last one is debatable because I feel like these are all really good. Restore is decent. I don't actually know if you're gonna take it, but I think the last one you probably take is either Vines or Thorn Barrier. Both of these are very, very strong, and they deter pushing. Not, I mean, it depends how recoverable health works. Because if this is just 5 all, and I mean, there's no guarantee the additional recoverable health actually works the way I'm talking about it. I feel like it should because that's the way it's worded, but if not, these obviously lose a lot of value. This probably gets taken off, and you would run things like Vines or Thornberry, so let's say Thornberry and then like Restore, right? But these are probably, like, this is probably similar to the setup you would actually run maybe Tree of Life of Restore if, like I said, if the recoverable health works the way I'm talking about. But these are super, super strong. Also, they have a very low knowledge requirement, actually. You only need 6 knowledge or 6 memcap to run like most of your spells, and these are just pretty insane. I mean, this character has a lot of good utility and a lot of strong healing. Like, yeah, the healing's over time, but it's still very, very good. And then you have damage healing, which is good. Thornberry. I think Thornberry and Entangling Vines are going to be 2 of the best spells in the game. Just because Thornberry, you push, like, you put it up, and all of a sudden, there is now a doorway that you cannot walk through, and if you do walk through it, you will take damage. I don't know how fast you can cast this, but imagine, like you could throw this up, like, mid-fight. However, it does say any character, so your teammates will take damage, I'm pretty sure, if you stand near this, so you don't want to throw it up in your teammate, but, like, you could, like, throw this up to block somebody and, like, block them into a fight, or, you know, block them in, like, a hallway, anything like that, and this could completely, like, screw them. Like, in a game where a lot of fights take place in relatively enclosed areas, like in doorways and hallways, things like that, being able to completely change the terrain and block the terrain is just invaluable. And it's going to be really, really good. I think Druid on release, assuming that nothing else is added, probably will be, but assuming nothing else is added, is actually going to be pretty strong. So the thing is, healing over time in this game hasn't historically been that great. If it's the main healing, I mean, obviously we had Tranquility with Tranquility and stuff, but that was like different. That wasn't super strong in combat healing. Was really broken about that was it was really good out of combat because, like, you know, you could run from fight to fight and you're healing on the way there, out plus your own, like, you know, potions, bandages, that type of thing. However, in this next upcoming patch, we are going to get time to kill being increased significantly. Everybody got more HP, damage got lowered, true damage is lowered, add damage is lowered. All of these things get lowered. while increasing HP. People are going to be way harder to kill. It's going to take a lot longer in fights. And these fights that are a lot longer make these healing over time effects get way more value, right? Because thing is, like, you can throw heals on people, and like you can throw like this on people, and you can sit down, right? Because this lasts 12 seconds. Cleric's like, oh, I heal you, like, you know, I heal you instantly, and that's all I have. Like, I have no other healing. So one thing about Cleric that is good and bad is, well, I mean, it's not good and bad. It's like, you know, it's a positive and a negative. Because I don't want to say it's good and bad, even that sounds like the same thing. Not really. So the thing on Cleric is Cleric has burst healing, right? Which it's the positive of burst healing is obviously I can heal you for a ton in a really short period of time. The downside is there's a lot of times where you waste that healing, or you know you have to hold the heal because you're like, oh, I don't want to lose value on this. Because you know if your teammate only loses 10% HP, you don't want to have to throw a lesser or holy light on them. You want to wait until you're getting maximum value out of that heal. However, with this, you don't have to do that. Oh, you lost 10 HP? Okay, I'll throw this on you, and you're going to heal that. Like, you're going to slowly heal that back up. And then I can, like, sit for spells, or I can, like, do something else. And, like, you know, I throw these heals on you. I don't have to worry. Okay, I can look to cast Streamfire, and I can look to do damage. I can look to throw up walls. I can do all these other things that I'm not having to sit there and just constantly hold the spell. Because if you watch, like, you watch Pashi, you watch Mist, you watch all these Cleric players play, most of the time what they do in a fight is they sit there and they are just holding a heal, and that is all they're doing. They just have to sit there and they channel a heal and they just have to wait for their teammate to lose HP. Sometimes they'll have freedom to cast like Holy Strikes or something, but for the most part, a lot of time what they're doing is they're just sitting there, they're holding a heal, waiting for their teammate to lose enough HP that it's actually worth it to throw that out. And then, if you do that, you wait for them to get low enough to actually get value out of heal. If you then miss that heal, it's like really, really bad. Because now it's like, oh, I've spent all this time doing nothing, and now I have to recharge another heal and throw it out. And a lot of times, they can die in that time frame before you get another heal charge. But like I said, obviously, Druid doesn't do that. Druid is much more of a passive healer while actively doing other things. Like, yeah, most of their abilities are all healing. However, you know, you could, like, you throw the hots on them, and then you have damage. You have utility and thorn barrier. You can have entangling vines if you really want to take something else off. You know, like, maybe take this off, run entangling vines. It gives you way less healing. However, who cares? Because now I have a shit ton more utility. Like, imagine you entangling vines, they're rooted for 3 seconds, and then you throw a thorn barrier up. Or you throw the thorn barrier up, and then you entangling vines them into the thorn barrier. So now they're stuck beside it, taking 10 damage a second for 3 seconds. That's 30 extra damage they're going to take in the fight. And they're rooted and can't move. So my teammates can hit them. This class, with what it has, is going to have a ton of utility, and it's going to be very, very valuable in teams. I don't know exactly how good it'll be, and I'm not going to sit here and say it'll be better at Bard or Cleric, because we don't know the changes coming up. Because obviously we're going to get a big balance change, I assume, right? Coming in for the next wipe. I definitely see Bard and Cleric nerfs. Cleric specifically with the new changes and everybody, like, time to kill increasing, Cleric's just going to need to be nerfed. Because if not, like, healers, whenever time to kill is higher, healers become even stronger because it makes the value of their heals even higher. So if you don't nerf their heals proportionally to how time to kill increases, it just makes the game feel really bad. It's like, oh, it took me this long to do damage, and the Cleric killed it up with one spell. Right? But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this video for me. Overall, I would say Druid's going to be a pretty strong class. I think if Cleric and Bard get nerfed appropriately, Druid can be in contention for the best support in the game, and I do think it's going to be very, very good. It has a ton of utility. Its healing isn't super high, but the healing is pretty cool. That it's passive healing and not active, like I mentioned before, with having to charge spells the whole fight. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what people do with it. It should be pretty fun. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for me, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.